Hey, it's David, and welcome back to another episode of the Reddit Story podcast.
First story. After 14 years of abandonment, OP wants to contact his father for closure, but is hesitant. My father was in my life only for the first 13 years of my life. I'm 27 now. He and my mom divorced when I was very little. We never had a particularly strong bond. We weren't on bad terms, but his hobbies were sports, motorcycles, and especially cars, all things I never had a particular interest in. I tried to make an effort and spend time with him while watching football, car races, and MotoGP, but I guess I failed miserably. I tried to share my hobbies with him, but he never looked interested, so I stopped trying. Don't misunderstand me. We had our good times. After the divorce, my father had a few girlfriends, but me and my sister were always a priority for him. That was until he met his current wife. Patty was okay, a bit cold and authoritative, but overall not the worst GF he had. She had 2 sons from her previous marriage. They were 18 and 20, and they shared exactly the same hobbies as my father. After they entered his life, I understood pretty soon that me and my sister were not a priority anymore. My father would spend more time with his new girlfriend and her sons than with me and my sister. And even when we were with him, it was like we weren't there, or we were a nuisance. After less than a year of dating, my father decided to marry Patty, and he hid it from us until 2 weeks before the wedding. We felt betrayed, and I understood that there was no place for me and my sister in his life anymore. He had his new perfect sons, so he didn't need us anymore. He went to LC for a bit, and then to NC. I don't want to talk about it, but my already low self-esteem received a huge blow. When I went to college, I met this girl, Claire. She was amazing. When I was with her, I felt loved, like for the first time in my life. I could be my true self without being afraid that she would leave me. She was my other half, the only woman I could ever love. Our relationship lasted 3 years. She died 3 years ago. I was depressed. My mom and sister had to force me to get out of bed. My grades dropped miserably, and I gained weight because I would eat until I was sick, only so that I would feel something other than pain. Now I feel better. 2 months ago was my birthday, and I realized that it's been 14 years since I last talked to my dad, which means I have officially spent most of my life without him. For some reason, I remembered one conversation I had in the past with Claire. I explained to her my relationship with him, and the fact that I had never talked to him to officially break things off. She thought that if I felt like it, it would have been good to tell my father how I felt about him, and about how he left me for his new family. I could call him or go to his house to talk to him, but I don't know if it would be the right thing to do, especially because it would only take a weight off my chest. So Wibta for calling my father after such a long time, even though neither of us tried to contact each other before. Relevant comments. OP. I never told him how much he hurt me, and he apparently never noticed how much my sister, and I felt like a nuisance in his new life. I just want to tell him how I feel and understand if he knew how we felt and simply didn't care, or if he sincerely didn't understand, which is possible. Empathy wasn't his strong point. OP. I had to cut the post short by more than 2,000 words, so I missed a few things. After he went to NC for a couple of months, he tried calling me on the phone, but I didn't answer, and he never tried again, so I don't know. Maybe he is waiting for me to call him. Although the things he did in the years following make me think otherwise. Several commenters suggest therapy. OP therapists are not seen in a good way in my country. I have a potential good job waiting for me after I graduate college, and if they knew I went to therapy, they would probably second-guess hiring me. Yeah, it's unfair, I know. OP. To be sincere, I don't care what effect the outcome will have on me. I may be shunned, abandoned again, or hurt again. I don't particularly care. What I care most about is telling him what I feel so that I can move on and, if possible, not hurt him in the process. I know he abandoned me, and I know that it doesn't make sense, but he is my father, and while I can't say I love him as such, I still don't want to see him hurt. Update. I wanted to make a short update about the situation with my father. Listening to the advice of some of you, I decided to try writing a letter, writing everything I wanted to say to my father. It was quite a long letter, longer than I thought. At the end of the letter, I wrote that if he wanted to, we could have met to talk during the Christmas holidays, but that I would go back to my place, which is quite far after 9. Anyway, among those who suggested I write a letter, some thought I shouldn't send it, while others thought I should. I thought about it for a couple of days, and in the end, I decided to put it in the mailbox of his work address. I thought about sending it to his home, but there was a chance it wouldn't reach him, so I chose his workplace. I personally put it in there, knowing he would find it the same day, and I asked my cousin, who works with him, if he received it. He told me that he saw the letter, but he didn't know if he read it, and that my father's behavior didn't change in the next few days. Anyway, it's been more than a week since then, and nothing happened, so I guess this is his answer. I had no expectation of an actual answer, so I'm not particularly hurt, sad, or anything else. I made this update mostly to thank the people who gave me advice on what to do and how. Happy NY, everybody. Relevant comments. OP about the cousin. My cousin declared himself neutral years ago. He told my father that if he ever wanted to know how me and my sister were doing, he should have come to talk to us directly, and he said the same things to us about him. He is a cool guy. We get along quite well. He simply doesn't like drama, and when this whole story began, he told us he didn't want to be involved in any way, that he loved us and our father and didn't want to lose either of us. I respect his choice and his honesty. Flared as concluded for now, as OP did what he wanted by writing the letter and feels that the matter is settled. Second story. OP hates her Sil with a passion. I 32F have a 7-year-old son who's autistic. I also divorced when we found out that Greg, my son, was autistic, because my husband was ashamed of having a weirdo as a son and demanded that we give him up for adoption. I simply denied it. He got mad and left. My sister-in-law, Mary 28, literally hates my son. Since the day we found out he's autistic, she has been constantly saying that I need to get rid of him because I will soon feel embarrassed. She was also telling us that my ex-husband did the right thing and that I should have listened to him. Nobody has ever said anything, and I have never caused any drama because I didn't want to ruin the whole vibe since I only see her at family gatherings. But today it happened. Even though Greg is autistic, he's the smartest human I've ever seen. Today is my mom's birthday, so I had the chance to meet Mary again. As she was talking, she was sometimes making small mistakes, and Greg was the one correcting her. At some point, her face turned red. She stood up and started yelling at my son. She was calling him problematic and weird and said that she now knows why Greg has no friends, and that his dad was right about leaving him. My son cried. For the first time. He has never cried about a situation before. At least not in front of me. He usually gets a little moody when something happens to him. But we talk for a bit, and then he's smiling again. I was too shocked to say anything. I just stood up, took Greg's hand, and left. But then I realized that by leaving, I wouldn't make things any better. So I told Greg to wait in the car. I went back, and everyone looked at me in shock. My parents were trying to stop me because they knew that Mary had messed up. But I didn't really care. She hurt my son, so she should pay for it. I watched her as she was standing up and walking in my direction, having this annoying smile on her face. I grabbed her by the neck, barely letting her breathe. I just told her, if you ever make my son sad, I will make sure you spend the rest of your life more miserable than ever. And left. Relevant comments. Jesus Christ, the stories I read on Reddit. How do these people even exist? An adult bullying a 7-year-old within your own family. What the flying F? OP's reply. Cold-hearted and mean people unfortunately exist. I hope y'all never get to experience this kind of behavior from your own family. Did your family not put her in her place? OP's reply. Unfortunately not. I've started to believe that they actually agree. What did your brother say? Is he still embarrassed for being married to such an ignorant person? OP's reply. My brother said nothing at all. He just silently told her to sit down when I returned, but nothing too special. There is something deeply wrong with a grown adult making an innocent kid cry for no good reason. Even worse when it's not even their own kid. It gets worse when you consider autism to be effectively a special need. You'd need to be really sick in the head to even go there. I totally understand your reaction though, but definitely be careful with someone like her too. Don't give her the power to damage you both. That aside, he's lucky to have you. Update. I just called my mom. The moment she answered, she started yelling. She said that I should be ashamed of ruining her birthday, and that she doesn't want me to go to any family gatherings again, as I've made my Sil upset. I told her I couldn't care less about how Mary felt. The only thing I cared about was Greg. I reminded her about the times when my Sil was talking SHT about her only grandchild, and asked her how she was able to keep her cool when her beloved Mary was calling her, once again, only grandchild problematic. She answered by saying that she didn't know how to react, so the solution was silence. I asked one more thing. If she agrees with Mary, if she is ashamed of my son. Her answer was hanging up the phone. My brother keeps ignoring my calls. I want to personally thank each and every one of you. Receiving all this support from you guys made me strong again. And because of you and the stories you told me, I have the courage to protect him even more and never give up. Thank you. Relevant comments. You're a good mother. I'm autistic, but my parents think it's demon possession. Going to NC was the best thing I did for myself. My kids are also neurodiverse, and I do my best to protect them. If your family doesn't have your back, you don't need them. If your brother isn't calling you to apologize for his wife, you don't need him. Your responsibility is to protect your child from people like your Sil. If you do choose to go to NC, it hurts at first, but it does get better. I wouldn't be surprised if the distance caused them, the mother and brother, to re-evaluate the situation. OP's reply. I have chosen not to contact you again for my child's sake, and I know it will be hard, but I'm willing to fight for him. Sending hugs to you and your loving family. Y'all know why OP's mom is taking Mary's side. Because she sees her as her only chance of having a normal grandchild. That's all. Sorry you're going through this, OP, but you did the right thing. This had been going on long enough, but it's time to go to NC with the abusive family. I wouldn't have done worse, honestly, if I were you. Third story. My friend outed me to my religious mother and made my life a living hell. I wish I could say this was fake, but it is not. I was 18 years old when I blocked my friend of 10 years. She had been acting weird, and not the good kind of weird. She always had some kind of drama going on in her life that made it impossible to be friends with her. One day she told me she was coming over, and when she did come over, she walked over to my mom and told her, "Your daughter is a lesbian." In that moment, I had no idea what had just happened. Had my own friend of 10 years really just outed me to my own mother, in my house? I felt this sick feeling wash over me. What the hell was my friend thinking? I'll call my friend E. You see, we had been friends for such a long time that I felt that there was a genuine connection between us. We would do everything together, and I felt that nothing would damper our relationship. I knew that it wasn't uncommon for people to seek drama, but I didn't think she would go this far. I remember my mother saying to me through her tears, "Tell me it's not true." By this point, I was crying, and I wasn't able to speak properly. My friend E was still standing there, just staring at me. I remember running upstairs to my room and just crying. After all, what was going to happen to me now? I felt at this point that the whole world was ending. About a week later, my mom finally came around, and I knew that, in her eyes, I was a disappointment. But I was hoping that maybe she had gotten over it. She hasn't yet, but she's slowly learning to accept it. As for my backstabbing friend, I immediately blocked her on every platform possible. I haven't heard from her since. I'm currently in therapy, but not because I want to be. I'm here because my mom wants me to be her normal daughter again. In my opinion, the only person who needs therapy is my friend E. I will keep updates going on how this plays out for me now that I've been revealed. Relevant comments. Limitless Megan. So, your mom has you in conversion therapy. How old are you now? Are you financially dependent on your mom? Can you get out of her house? OP, I am not dependent on my mom. But I don't have any place to go. I am currently looking for a place to stay that's not here. And I am 19 years old now. Just the Fox 99. I am so glad that you got away from that awful therapist. I was so worried about your mental well-being. I hope your mom realizes you are basically still the same you that you have always been, and that you should accept the outward changes. Lots of love headed your way from a complete stranger, but one wishing you the best. OP, I wish she would realize this. I really do, but she has not. She reminds me every day that I'm a disappointment, and with my birthday coming up, she's already told me I am getting nothing from her until I learn a lesson. Thank you for your kind words. I really need that. Update. Hello everyone, OP here. I have taken the time to read through all the comments I have received. I am very overwhelmed and emotional by just how many people have commented on such beautiful things and words. This has made healing a little bit better for me. For those who have asked what my ex-friend's original intentions were, I really don't know. To be honest, I don't know what she thought or what she was thinking when she did what she did. I have not contacted her to find out. She attempted to show up at my workplace and apologize to me. I did not forgive her. After all that she did and put me through, I would be stupid to forgive her. She has attempted to make multiple social media accounts as an attempt to reach out to me. After asking multiple other friends of mine, no one knew why she did this. I have decided not to get to her level. Someone in my original post mentioned a good way to get revenge. But the more I thought about it, the more it sounded wrong to get to her level. Multiple people have also asked if I can move out anytime soon. I wish I could say yes, but I cannot. While I do not rely on my mom for financial things, I do rely on her to give me a roof over my head and a bed to sleep in. Currently, I am working more shifts so that I will soon be able to move out. I have not been attending therapy. It is in my right to choose not to go. I have tried to talk to my therapist about this situation, but they won't hear of it. As their job is to make me realize my true gender. I have never heard such words in my life. She's not very bright at her job. As for the rest of the situation, I wish I had more of an update, but I do not. I thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for your kind words, thoughts, and prayers. You are all such amazing human beings that are very wonderful. My mom still has not accepted the fact that I am what I am. She won't talk to me, but that's okay. I don't mind. I might be a disappointment to her, but I will always be her child, the one she gave birth to. Thank you for reading, OP. Relevant comments. Office Max, it sounds like your therapist isn't a clinically trained psychologist, but some kind of anti-homosexual quack trying to force you to be straight. Is your mom religious? OP, my mom is religious, yes. As for the therapist, yeah, she's messed up. She even does text therapy with me, which is even dumber. It's not helpful. So I completely agree with you. Update. Hello everyone, OP here. I've come to you guys with yet another update on my current situation. Recently, my former online friend has made 5 Instagram accounts. All of these accounts are being made on separate devices as a way to reach me. I've managed to block them on all accounts after noticing they were viewing my profile. It's become rather frustrating and stressful for me, as I only have 3 accounts on Instagram, all of which she is blocked on. She can't seem to stay away, even on other platforms. At one point, she even made 3 Zeptio accounts to try and reach me. It's become rather annoying, but I'm handling it as best I can. I'm still living with my mother, and while I'm saving up money to hopefully move somewhere else, I spent my birthday alone with just me and myself. Rather uncomfortable, if you ask me. Now I also saw a handful of people offering to be my new online friend. I am completely fine with this, but please keep in mind that my guard is up and my trust is to be earned. Regardless, I would love to make some new friends. I would like it a lot if we could talk on platforms like Discord, Instagram, etc. I will go ahead and drop my Discord and Instagram here for those that are interested in being my online friends. Just shoot me a DM or message. Discord. Xanax Sampanic Attacks, 789 Instagram Ezra's World 7809. I also would like to thank everyone for their love, kindness, and support. It has made getting through this situation much easier. I thank every mom, sister, or even brother who has commented on my situation. I promise, I read every comment, so I thank you guys so much. The love and support are more than I ever imagined. Thank you for reading the OP. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.